here from Hamilton Sports Central, and we are going to be doing the live, the, give me 1 second here. The Redblacks and Alouettes watch along. Just we're doing it in a tape delay because we had some errands to do. So we are going to start it up. The game's actually in the second quarter, but we're just going to catch up to where it is. I'm sure by halftime we'll be caught up. So, flags will fly. Journey begins. Yes, the journey does begin. So we got, I'm not sure which radio broadcast this is because I know it's not in French. Okay, can we... So, Alouettes are going to kick off the ball, which is... Now, why is this... No. So Maltos kicks it off. And Stewart's going to return it for 21 yards. It's the Ottawa 38. Dang, 137 players between both teams. Brandon says, So basically, Brandon, the suspension, that's just holding a spot for another player. So if they're on the suspended list, they're still part of the team. If they're released by the team, then they're released by the team and they're free agents. They can sign with anyone. Jake Mayer throws it incomplete. See how well Jake Mayer does in a Redblacks uniform. And Jake Mayer goes to, runs off, goes to throw it. Throws it complete to Jordan Bly, catches it for 25 yards to the Montreal 47. Okay, wait, hold up here. Okay, according to the transaction page, they're listed on the team suspension, so they're still part of the team. The team can suspend you on the suspension list. They could just be throwing them on the suspension list just so that they have extra, so that they're not wasting spots. Because Winnipeg's probably doing it so that they can see who's because they may not be able to give them all playing time in this first preseason game. So once the preseason game happens, then they'll be able to say, okay, we can give them a chance next preseason game and give them a look. So that they don't have to release them. That could be why they're throwing them on the suspension list. Because according to the CFL's website, they're on the league suspension. They haven't been released, so I take that over 3 down. So Jake Mayer throws incomplete to Eugene Lewis. And then he throws 11 yards to C. McDonald to Montreal 36. Oh, runs it for no yards. E. Collins. Forward progress. This is going to be different because Ryan Dinwiddie is coaching the Ottawa team, so it's be interesting to see how well his team does. Jake Mayer throws it to Collins for 23 yards to the Montreal 13. Ento with the tackle. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Inside of the 14 of Montreal's end. Jake Mayer hikes the ball, and he goes to throw it to Schneed for 1 yard. So it's 2nd and 9 from the Montreal 12. Mayer goes to throw it. And he throws a touchdown to Kay White for 12 yards. Yeah, so if they are put on the suspension list, Winnipeg still holds the rights to those players. Usually teams will throw players on the suspension list to hold their rights during camp. Like if, for example, Terry Wilson, if they're at, say, for example, the 85-man plus non-counters, and then they have to get down to 75 because they need that extra spot for whatever reason, they may just say, okay, well, we're going to throw you on the suspension list. You're still going to be at camp, but we're going to throw you on the suspension list just so that we can get an extra look at another player type thing. So let's throw up the Z graphic. So it is 7-0 Ottawa. So tomorrow's games, we will be doing them on tape delays because I will be at the one game tomorrow. So Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern, we will be doing the Argos Ticats watch along on tape delay. And then following that, at the 7 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to be doing Bombers in Saskatchewan on the tape delay. And then the 26th, on my birthday, we're going to be doing the Elks at BC preseason the preseason watch along for that game. And then next weekend, I'll be at the Guelph game, so then I'll have to do more games on the 31st. I'll be doing 3 games in one day for the watch alongs for the preseason the day after they happen, but that's how that goes. We have Dealin kicks it off for 76 yards to the Montreal 4. Thice returns it for 13 yards to the Montreal 17. So it's going to be 1st and 10 from the Montreal 17. So Davis Alexander's getting some reps at quarterback. Alexander throws it for 11 yards to Tyson Philpott to the Montreal 28 for a 1st down, Alouettes. Yeah, so he may have left the team, but Bombers still own his rights. So he's on the suspended list. So until they release him, he's still part of the Bombers. Scott rushes for 3 yards to the Montreal 31. And then Davis Alexander is going to be sacked for a 1-yard loss. So it's going to be 3rd and 6 as the punter from Montreal comes on to punt the ball. Because, Brandon, you have to remember, if they go to play Perkins and Perkins is not good enough to make the team, then they still have Wilson for the 3rd-string quarterback. That's why they do it. I don't know if they would trade Cohen because you don't see many trades between rivals in the CFL. They may just wait because what I think the Riders might do is the Riders might wait until the final cuts are made and then go and pick up a quarterback. Because here's the thing. If they're not gonna keep Cohen, then they'll just cut him, and then Shager will be 3rd string or backup, and then you have Stevens. So the only way that Saskatchewan will pick up another quarterback is if Shager, if they think that he's not ready for backup or 3rd string, then they'll go pick up another quarterback. If they cut Cohen and they don't pick up a quarterback, then they're probably happy with the 3 quarterbacks that they have. So let's bring this up here. Okay, so we got this. Mm, 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 mm. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, oh. Mm, 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 mm. Yeah, that's true that they could bring back McLeod. If they feel that McLeod's better than Cohen. So Jake Mara throws it to Collins for 7 yards to 47. So it's going to be 2nd and 3 from the 47. And we have Collins rushing for 2 yards to the Ottawa 49. So 3rd and 1. The question is, do they get enough forward progress? Andre Pruitt says first down. So that's Max Duggan is going to be, so the quarterback that Toronto cut is going to be now the 3rd short yardage quarterback for Ottawa. Interesting. Mara throws it incomplete as it's halftime, and these guys screwed up my thing, so now I gotta. Where was I? Throws incomplete. Get it. We're in there. So it's halftime. So we're about a quarter behind. So Mara goes to throw it 2nd 10, and the Redblacks tackled right away. So it's about third and 4. So Gosselin gets the catch. Punter comes in for Ottawa and goes to punt the ball. So Brooks returns it back to the 12. 4:13 left in the third quarter, or first quarter. There we go. Bum 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 bum. Thanks to the 26 people who have joined us on this delayed game of the CFL preseason game between the Alouettes and the Redblacks. As we have the second round of plays for the Montreal, starting on their 12-yard line. Hand off to Stevie Scott, the third, for 8 yards. So it's going to be 2nd and 2 from the Montreal 21. Stevie Scott rushes for 10 yards to the Montreal 31 to get the first down plus more yardage. So it's going to be 1st and 10 from the Montreal 31. So screen pass to Alexander Hollins, who is a former BC Lion from 2 years ago, for 4 yards to the Montreal 35. So it's 2nd and 6. Alexander checks down, but the receiver doesn't go anywhere. But there's a flag on the field. It's going to be a hold on the Alouettes. So penalty was declined, so it's going to be 3rd down. So Zima punts 39 yards to the Ottawa 34-yard line. Stewart returns for 4 yards to the Ottawa 38. Jonathan Sutherland, who last played in the NFL, makes the tackle. So Jake Maier comes out for his third set of plays. Dum, 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 dum. Dun, 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 dun. So Ottawa is back on offense. So Jake Maier passes incomplete to Eugene Lewis at the Ottawa 51. So Jake Maier takes the ball, backs up, throws it deep to Eugene Lewis for 59 yards to the Montreal 13. Hamlin with the tackle. Burns got burned on the stutter step. So Jake Maier goes to hike the ball, throws it to number 85. Here's C. McDonald for 7 yards. So it's going to be 2nd and 3 from the Montreal 6. Jake, you know what? Like I said earlier, Drew Brown. If Drew Brown does not do well, Jake Maier, I'm sure, will be fine going in there with what we've seen so far today. So far, we have seen we're 0 time on the clock with the last play of the first down or the first quarter. And Maier hands it off to Elijah Collins for 2 yards. So it's going to be 3rd and 1. So that will take us to the end of the first quarter as we're going to go to the second all the way down till it comes back, and then we'll go up again. Dun, 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 dun. Bum, 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 bum. So apparently Dustin Crum is warming up. Or they're just showing Dustin Crum's numbers on the sideline, I should say. Okay, so they're on their 5-yard line. And Mara throws it to White for the touchdown for 4 yards. Second of the game for White. So that makes it 13-0 for the Redblacks. And again, this is preseason, so it's not something that you'd regularly see, but I mean, it is, people are trying out, so don't take any pun intended. So Alexander's had 2 series and he's 3 for 3. See if he goes back out there. So Geelan kicks off for 64 yards to the Montreal 16. Brooks, the third, returns for 27 yards to the Montreal 43. Brooks was at our training camp last year. So Dustin Crum is now into the game. And apparently, Davis Alexander left with an injury, some are saying. Travis Tice rushes for 13 yards to the Ottawa 54. And I do appreciate everyone that are watching. If you're watching over on YouTube, don't forget to like the stream. Consider subscribing over on Twitch or YouTube. Muchly appreciated. Crum throws to number 8, Philpott, or number 6, and he's still going for 21 yards to Ottawa 3-yard line. Crum throws to Tice, hops over a Redblack and runs out of bounds for 5 yards to Ottawa 28. 12:26 left to go in the second quarter. Tice rushes for 7 yards to Ottawa 21 for a first down. Jordan Perryman with the tackle. Travis Tice for 5 yards to the Ottawa 16. Jordan Perryman again with the tackle, so it's going to be 2nd and 5. Crum throws to Mason, the fullback, for 7 yards to the Ottawa 9 for a first down for the Alouettes. And there's a flag on the play. Tice rushes for a 1-yard loss, and it's going to be legal block. Offense 10 yards, so they go back 10 yards. Throws incomplete to Travis Thice. Udo with the catch for 6 yards to the Ottawa 13 from Dustin Crum. Malta's going out for the field goal attempt. And Maltos gets them a field goal. So now it's 14-7. Gets a 21-yarder. So Jake Mira has thrown 10 for 14, 155 yards, and 2 touchdowns in just over a quarter against the Montreal starting defense. So Jake Mira's night is done. So Collins rushes for 4 yards to the Ottawa 44. So Max Duggan is in the game. Dunnigan throws incomplete to Starkey at the Montreal 40, but there's an illegal block offense, 10 yards. So it goes back 10 yards from the Ottawa 44 to the Ottawa 54. So Duggan passes to Bly for 7 yards. So 2nd and 4 from the Montreal 50. Duggan throws to Gosselin for 6 yards to the Montreal 43, first down. So Duggan throws to Collins for 2 yards, so it's 2nd and 8. Duggan throws incomplete to Starkey. However, there's a flag on the play for defensive pass interference. So it's going to go from the Montreal 41 to the Montreal 25 with that 16-yard defensive pass interference. Collins rushes for 5 yards to the Montreal 20. Boschman with the tackle. However, there's a holding on Dustin Boyd for 10 yards to the Montreal from the Montreal 25 to the Montreal 35. Max Duggan rushes for 3 yards to the Montreal 32, so it's going to be 2nd and 17. Max Duggan throws incomplete to Bly, so Montreal 29. And Do not go to AI viewers. Steamboat.com. Let's go with a field goal for Redblacks. Which was a 40-yard field goal for the Redblacks. So that would make it 17-7. Do 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 do. Oh 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 oh. Mm-hmm. Do, do, Bum, 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 do, do, do. Okay, so Montreal chose to take it on the 40-yard line. Crum throws to Bluncomsey for 24 yards to the Ottawa 46. Barnes with the tackle. So the Montreal first string receivers are out of the game now. Now they're playing with their first or second string group. For some reason, they decided to go with another timeout. Do, 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 do. Bum, 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 bum. Do, 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 do. Mm, 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 mm. Ooh, what a hit. Crum rushes for 2 yards to the Ottawa 44. Strafford with the tackle. So it's going to be 2nd and 8 at the Ottawa 44. And a pass from Crum to Watkins Jr. for 9 yards to Ottawa 35. Cloyd with the tackle. So it's going to be 1st and 10 with 2:28 left in the second quarter. We're going to skip the halftime and we're going to go straight to the third quarter so that we can catch up. So Crum throws to Brooks for 5 yards to the 30-yard line. Perryman, which is I think his third or fourth tackle, and it's going to be 2nd and 5 from the 30-yard line. I'll bring this up. So it's going to be 3rd down, 1:41 left. Third and 5 from the Ottawa 30, and Dustin Crum is going to make an attempt. Throws to Travis Tice for 10 yards to the Ottawa 20. Petway with the tackle, 1st down. Tice with a rush of 4 yards to the Ottawa 16. Lestage, the injured Alouette. So that's 2 injured Alouettes today. So the good thing is for the Alouettes is even though Alexander's injured, the real games don't start for 2 weeks, and they open on the road against us on June 4th. So it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next few weeks with Alexander. Second and 6 at the Ottawa 16. Crum throws incomplete to Philip Brooks III. Petway with the tackle. That's his 3rd straight tackle for Petway. Crum has to scramble. Stays up, gets tackled, and he throws it. And Mason makes the catch. Crum throws to Mason for 5 yards, but it's turnover on downs. Dun, dun, oh, oh. So now I'm still trying to get used to Dustin Crum on the Red Blacks. So now that Red Blacks have turned over the ball, we're going to start with Ottawa has the ball for 59 seconds before halftime. Dum, 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 dum. Okay, minute left. Adnaboye rushes for 3 yards. So it's going to be 2nd and 7 at the Ottawa 14. So Red Blacks will punt it away after Adnaboye rushes for 4 yards to the Ottawa 18. So it's going to be 3rd and 3. (17-3) heading into halftime. Philip Brooks returns it. So let's go to the beginning of the third. So we'll go all the way down like this. So we got 16 seconds left. Crum throws to Watkins for probably about 8 yards. So it's going to be 3rd and 2. And Gagne gets the first Rouge of the year. So 17-4. Okay, so okay, so we're gonna go back a bit. Okay, so Alouettes are gonna return it. Ottawa kicks it off. Philip Brooks returns it for 29 yards to the Montreal 42. Cumberbatch with the tackle. So Crum is still in the game. Dustin Crum throws to Owens, who is Terrell Owens' son, for 0 yards to the Montreal 42. Moten with the tackle. Crum throws to Blankumsey for 17 yards to the Ottawa 51. Hutter with the tackle for a first down. Talbot rush for 1 yard. Tackle by Evans. So it's 2nd and 9. throws incomplete. So Crum throws incomplete to Watkins Jr. to make it 3rd and 9. Burgess punts it for 36 yards to the Ottawa 14. Stewart returns it for 9 yards, tackled by Sutherland at the Ottawa 23, out of bounds. And Montreal gives up a no yards penalty of 15 yards. So Ottawa goes from the 14 to the 29-yard line. Mm-mm. 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 So we have Daniel Adnaboye rushes for 9 yards to the Ottawa 38. Bushman with the tackle. And Max Dunnigan is still in the game so far. So it's 2nd and 1 at Montreal 38, or Ottawa 38, I mean. Duggan rushes for a yard, and there's a penalty on the play. Roughing the passer, Hicks, 15 yards from the Ottawa 43 to the Montreal 52, as Duggan had rushed for 5 yards. So Max Duggan throws incomplete to Starkey, broken up by Bushman. And it's going to be 2nd and 10 at the Montreal 52. Max Dunnigan throws to Horn, broken up by Keys. Whoever this play-by-play guy just said it was intercepted. It's not intercepted. It was almost intercepted, but not intercepted. Burnip punts for 34 yards on the 3rd and 10. Phillip Brooks returns for 7 yards to the Montreal 25. No yards on Starkey for Ottawa. So it goes from the Montreal 18 to the Montreal 33-yard line. Oh, 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 oh. So Justin Crumb's still in the game. Still weird that he's playing for Montreal instead of Ottawa. So Crum throws to Franklin for 6 yards to the Montreal 39. So it's going to be 2nd and 3 from the Montreal 39-yard line. Talbot rushes for 18 yards to the Ottawa 53. Barnes with the tackle for it, so it's going to be an Alouette first down. Justin Crum throws to Talbot for 2 yards, but it's an illegal block on the offense for Montreal. So it's a 10 penalty from the Ottawa 53 to the Montreal 47. No play. And Jay Peter is the injured player on the field. So there's 2 players down, 1 Alouette and 1 Redblack. First down repeated. First and 20. So we're already halfway through the third quarter already. Okay. I guess we're taking a little bit of a break, as the announcers like to say. Do, 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 do. Crum throws to Utah for 7 yards to the Montreal 54. So the Alouettes are going to punch it away. So it'd be 2nd and 13. So Burgess punches it for 49 yards to the Ottawa 7. Stewart returns it for 35 yards to the Ottawa 42. McLeod with the tackle. So Stewart's trying to show his worth at the return game. Max Duggan throws to Starkey for 5 yards to the Ottawa 47. So it's going to be 2nd and 5. Max Duggan sacked for 3 yards to the Ottawa 44. Archibald with the sack. Burnip punts 50 yards to the Montreal 16. Brooks III returns for 16 yards to the Montreal 32. And it's unnecessary roughness. Hudon with the unnecessary roughness. So it's 15 yards from the Montreal 32 to the Montreal 47. It's going to be first down, Alouettes. Oh, oh, well, bum, 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 bum. Huh? Uh, 5:27 left in the third quarter. James Morgan is in the lineup. So James Morgan throws to Franklin for 8 yards to the Montreal 55. Hutter with the tackle. Lawrence with the rush for 7 yards to the Ottawa 48. It's going to be a first down, Montreal. Lawrence rushes for 10 yards to the Montreal 38. Barnes with the tackle. So it's going to be second and inches. Morgan rushes for 1 yard to the Ottawa 37. Kanuba, the second with the tackle, so it's going to be a first down Alouettes. So Lawrence rushes for 3 yards to the Ottawa 34. So it's going to be 2nd and 7 from the 34. Morgan intercepted by Torrance. Returns for 0 yards at the Ottawa 25. Franklin with the tackle. Ooh. Barnes throws complete deep to McDonald for 42 yards, and it's going to be roughing the passer penalty on Montreal. So they go from So how does that make sense that they go back 15 yards? Oh, yeah, that's right, because I think they have that backwards. Because how can you catch it at the 52 and then send the offense backwards? It makes no sense. So they move it to the 18, Montreal, because the bench got a penalty there as well. So they go from the Ottawa 25 all the way down to the Montreal 15. How does Stewart? Oh my God. Stewart does not rush for 55 yards. Unnecessary roughness on Ottawa, so they go back 15 yards. So 54 got an unnecessary roughness penalties. Second and long for Ottawa. 2nd and 22 from the Montreal 30. And there's another penalty, but it was thrown incomplete. Well, in and out of the hands of the Montreal defender, but there's a penalty on the field. Ooh, defensive pass interference. So it's not. So they say illegal contact, but it's defensive pass interference. So it's going to be 1st and 10 at the Ottawa 30, or Montreal 30, sorry. Stewart with a 5-yard loss. I will be back. I've got to go get some new batteries for my whatchamacallit? My mouse. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so Barnes rushes for 6 yards to the Montreal 19. So that finishes for the 3rd quarter. So we're going to go to the 4th. Galen with a 26-yard field goal. So it's 20-4 to start the fourth quarter. From 26. So Lawrence rushes for 9 yards to the Montreal 49. Morgan rushes for 2 yards to the Montreal 51. So that makes it a first down. Morgan throws it to Stroman for 9 yards to the Ottawa 50. And we have a comment, and it's Brandon April says, I think Davis Alexander might be done for the season because he hurt his knee. I mean, you could hurt your knee and be fine. It all depends on what happens with that, because you got to remember, he doesn't have to play next week. It all depends on how injured that knee is, because he will start in 2 weeks against Hamilton. So it all depends on how serious that knee injury is or not. He was on the sideline in the third quarter in street clothes, and I haven't seen an update yet. Morgan rushes for 1 yard. Penalty on Ottawa for 5 yards. And Ambers is injured on the play. So it's a first down for the Alouettes. Yeah, he left the first quarter with the team doctors. He is back on the sidelines in the third quarter. So the knee injury can't be that bad if he's standing on the sidelines without crutches in the third quarter. Again, it's too early to tell. There's nothing on social media or anything that says that he's going to be out long term. It could just be something that could just be a stinger for all we know. I mean, if he's out long term, it benefits us. But time will tell. James Morgan passes to Blankham C for 14 yards. To the Ottawa 31. Cumberbatch with the tackle. It's a first down Alouette. Morgan throws incomplete to the Ottawa 25. Bly with the tackle, or Bly with the breakup play on the play that is. Morgan throws incomplete to Franklin at the Ottawa 25, so it's going to be third and 10 from the Ottawa 31. So a field goal unit will be coming out once again. So 30 Horvat kicks a 39-yard field goal. Recovered by Bly. Bly returns it for loss of 3 yards to the Ottawa minus 20, and it's a single. So that's 2 singles now for Montreal. So that's 20-5. Oh, it's okay. So now he's left the stadium. So now the doctors are just reporting it now, or the reporters are just reporting it now. So Stewart rushes for 17 yards to the Montreal 53, and then rushes for 0 yards. So it's 2nd and 10 at the Montreal 53. Barnes throws to Taylor for 7 yards, but it was fumbled by Sutherland, recovered by Sutherland and returned for 2 yards. Talbot rushes for 1 yard to the Montreal 49. Stafford with the tackle. Arnaud Desjardins is in for Montreal at quarterback. Desjardins passes to Talbot for 1 yard to the Montreal 50. So it's going to be 3rd and 8, and Burgess punches. You're going to punch. Punts for 46 yards to the Ottawa 14. Bly returns for 19 yards to the Ottawa 33. Barnes passes to Schnee for 12 yards, and there's a penalty on the play. Too many men, Montreal. Penalties declined. Because yards are greater, so they're going to decline it. Barnes in a shotgun for the Redblacks. Quick throw to McDonald for 13 yards to the Montreal 52. It's going to be another first down, Redblacks. Barnes throws incomplete to McDonald, but it's holding Ottawa. Illegal contact, Montreal. They're going to redo first down. Six minutes left in the fourth quarter. Sir rushes for 2 yards to the Montreal 50. So it's going to be second down and 8 from the Montreal 50. Barnes throws to Cheney for 9 yards to the Montreal 41. Manuel with the tackle. It's going to be first down, Redblacks. Barnes throws to Starkey for 6 yards to the Montreal 35. Hicks with the tackle. Barnes passes to Taylor for 6 yards to the Montreal 20. Keys with the tackle. It's going to be another first down, Redblacks. Collins rushes for 6 yards to the Montreal 23. Sutherland with the tackle. 3-minute warning. Oh. Sweet Caroline. Ba, ba, ba. Barnes passed to Schnee for 14 yards to Montreal 9. So Barnes rushes for 9 yards for a touchdown. And that means Um, mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. So with the extra point, that makes it 27-5. And then the rematch is in Ottawa next week. So Getman kicks it off for 68 yards to the Montreal 12. Blinkham C returns it for 26 yards to the Montreal 38 with 2:18 left. Brandon says, I can say Jake Mayer did good for Zucci. It's funny that you mentioned that, Brandon, because I have. Let me pull up the numbers. Oh, what the heck? It won't let me. It won't let me pull them up for some reason because Twitter is being a butthead right now. Desjardins passes to Lawrence for 13 yards to the Montreal 51. Cumberbatch with the tackle. Ooh, that's going to be interesting to mention. Desjardins passes to Franklin for 7 yards to the Ottawa 45. First down, Alouettes. And then throws incomplete to Lawrence. Desjardins passes to Nonnelly for 15 yards to the Ottawa 30. First down, Alouettes. 14 yards to the, and then for, oops. We went up 2 bit. So Desjardins passes to Franklin, caught for 14 yards to Ottawa 2. Lawrence rushes for 2 yards to score a touchdown for the Alouettes. Brandon says he threw for 155 yards and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, that's not bad. Let's play the little clip for a little touchdown Alouettes. So it's going to be 27-12. So 23 seconds left in the game. Horvat kicks off for 63 yards to the Ottawa 7. Stewart returns for 8 yards to the Ottawa 15. So 17 seconds left. Barnes kneels down twice for 2 yards, and that's going to end the game. So Ottawa takes a 27-12 victory. Let's take a look at the player stats. Jake Mayer throws 10 for 14, 155, 2 touchdowns. Bryson Barnes, 8 for 8, 109 yards. I mean, if you play like that next week, because they're going to be playing Ottawa's home game. So Drew Brown will play a bit next week. Bryson Barnes could beat out Max Dunnigan for the third string quarterback. Max Duggan, who came over from Toronto Argonauts, went 4 for 7, 20 yards. Jaquez Stewart had 5 for 7 for rushing. Daniel Naboy went 3 for 16. Bryson Barnes went 2 for 15, and Elijah Collins 5 for 14, with Max Duggan going 3 for 9. For receptions, Cade McDonald 4 for 4 for 73 yards. Eugene Lewis 1 for 4 for 59. Sam Schnee went 4 for 4 for 36. Elijah Collins 3 for 3 for 32. Jordan Bry 2 for 4 for 32. Keelan White, 2 for 2 for 16 yards and 2 touchdowns. Brock Taylor, 2 receptions for 13 yards. Goslin, 2 receptions for 12 yards. Rory Starkey, 2 for 3 for 11 yards. And Horn, he went 0 for 1 for 0 yards. Jordan Perryman and Scott Hutter and Marcus Barnes each had 5 defensive tackles. Ludovic Valine had 2 defensive tackles and 1 sack. He's that player that they made a trade with Toronto for. And Rode Torrance with the single interception. Paul Glean went 2 for 2 on field goals. The longest was 40 yards, 3 extra points. Getman average of 47.5 punts or yards on his punts. The longest was 48. Burnip, 2 punts on 42 yards, and 50 was his longest. Stewart had 3 punt returns for 49 yards, average of 16.3. Bly had 1 for 19. And that's kickoffs. Let's go over to the Montreal side. Dustin Crum went 15 for 20, 130 yards. We already know what we have with him. Arnaud Desjardins went 7 for 8 for 71 yards. James Morgan went 3 for 6 for 31 with 1 interception. And then Davis Alexander went 3 for 3 for 17 yards. Shamari Lawrence. Okay, that name looked familiar, but Shamari Lawrence is from Missouri Bears. I used to play as them for the NCAA. So Shamari Lawrence, that's where he ended up after his senior year. Had 5 carries for 31 yards and 1 touchdown. Travis Slice, 4 carries for 29 yards. Stevie Scott III, 3 carries for 21 yards. Liam Talbot, 3 carries for 20 yards. James Morgan had 2 carries for 3 yards, and Dustin Crum had 1 for 2 yards. Tamar Blunkmc, 3 receptions for 55 yards. Shakari Franklin, 5 for 7, 49 yards. Tyson Philpott went 2 for 2 for 32 yards. Tyson Nolly, 2 for 2 for 22 yards. Watkins, 2 for 4, 17 yards. Thice had 2 for 3 for 15 yards on receptions. Shamari Lawrence, 1 for 2 for 13 yards. Nathan Udaw, 3 for 3 for 13 yards. Jacob Mason, 2 for 2 for 12. Dalton Stroman, 1 for 1 for 9 yards. Brooks went 1 for 3 for 5 yards. Hollins, 1 for 1 for 4 yards. And Stevie Scott went 1 for 1 for 2 yards. Canton Arku led the team with 4 defensive tackles. Joshua Archibald, who was with BC Lions, had the lone sack. No interceptions. And Jonathan Sullivan had the lone forced fumble and fumble recovery. And then Maltos went 1 for 2 on field goals, the longest is 21, and he had 1 single. And Horvat went 0 for 1, extra point and a single. And Burgess punted 3 times for an average of 47.7. And Zima punted 2 times for 44.5 yards. And we will go and say we will be back on Monday as we have 2 live streams scheduled for Monday. The 2 out of 3 Saturday live streams. We have the Toronto at Ticats from Saturday at 3 p.m. And then we have the Bombers at Sask from Saturday at 7 p.m. as we plan to live stream the preseason games, even though they're on tape delay, because we won't be able to do all 3 games Saturday. So we're going to do 2 on Monday. Depending on the schedule, we might move those to Sunday and do some on Monday. But we'll see what the schedule has. I do appreciate everyone for stopping by and watching today's live stream, all 29 of you. This is Rick from Hamilton Sports Central, and have yourself a great rest of your day.